Hi and welcome. I'd like to spend a few minutes going over the syllabus for the BA 647 course. I think it's important that we all understand exactly what we're trying to accomplish in the class and what the parameters are, both for what we're trying to accomplish and how you're going to be evaluated on what you do. So, Strategic Marketing for Global Supply Chain Managers, big long title. Really what the purpose of this course is, you can see the course description there. Focus on applications in international business. Okay, applications in international business. Applications of marketing in international business. Applications of marketing management. Principles in international business. That's the core of what we're doing, and it talks about supply chain as part of overall marketing and relationships and so forth. So I've established a few specific outcomes that I hope to obtain, and I always look at these as the outcomes that are the thing that I'm trying to achieve. Let's see if I can make this thing move down here. Okay. So when you've completed the course, I hope that you will have gained an understanding of marketing theory and practice and the jargon used in that marketing theory and practice. All of you hopefully already have or are going to have responsible management positions in logistics, and whatever area of a corporation you're working in, you have to work with other areas. And the more you understand about the other areas, the more effective you'll be in leading your own area of expertise. So you're going to have to interact with marketing people all the time, and understanding how they think, what their language is really, really important. So when we talk about jargon, you can think about jargon in terms of many of you have maritime backgrounds, not all, but many. So you can think of jargon in terms of your maritime background. There are specific words in maritime, some as simple as starboard and port, which to the non-mariner mean right and left, but to the mariner mean right and left when facing the bow of the boat. So these kinds of words are really important, and they get used all the time, and if you know the language, then you can communicate. If you don't know the language, it's like going to a foreign country and not knowing the language. You're not nearly as effective. So learning the understanding jargon and being able to use marketing jargon is really important. Also the techniques and methods of marketing. So really kind of basic stuff there. I mean, that's not high level learning, but really important learning. The second outcome is high-level learning. The cognitive and analytical skills necessary to prepare an international marketing plan. International marketing plans are complex. They include lots of pieces, lots and lots of pieces. So you have to develop a plan, you have to understand all of the moving parts and how they interact with each other. And some of those moving parts are logistics. And supply chain. So understanding those moving parts and how they interact and how they affect whatever plan you put in place is really, really important. So understanding, being able to analyze a current situation, how to do research on that situation, arriving at a strategic plan that is global in nature, that is international in nature, strategies to implement your plan, and how to evaluate and control the plan after it's implemented. So that's a key piece, and the book we're using is focused around creating a marketing plan. So it's a hands-on book that's designed for people who aren't necessarily marketing majors in terms of an academic sense, but are in place in management positions where they have to create marketing plans. The third piece, understand or appreciate the interconnected nature of all business activities. Obviously, we're going to focus on marketing issues as they relate to logistics, but we're also going to focus on all sorts of how do they relate to finance, how do they relate to other business functions, accounting, finance, operations, all those business functions, not just logistics, but we'll have a focus on logistics. And remember, logistics for a long time, from an academic standpoint, was considered part of marketing. So the basic formula for any kind of a marketing subject is what we call the 4 Ps. Product, price, place, and what am I missing? Product, price, product, price, place, and promotion. And the place part of the place P is essentially logistics. So for a long time, logistics departments were part of the marketing department. As the logistics profession has grown, they've become independent of the marketing department, but they still are directly related to the marketing department. Marketing is all about creating products, communicating the benefits of those products to potential users of the products, and then getting the product to the user in an efficient manner. That getting the product to the user in an efficient manner is logistics. So big part of the marketing equation. The fourth item here in these outcomes is more of a soft skill, and I assume that many of you have developed this in your professional careers, or you've seen this in some of your courses on the online program. It's about getting those skills necessary to lead and or participate in a globally dispersed team. So in this day and age, oftentimes the people you're working with, the team you're on, may not be in one place. They may be in multiple time zones, they may be all over the world, and you have to learn how to work with those people in a virtual way that's effective. So that's part of what we're going to do here. We are virtual. Not sure what the full makeup, until I see your bios. I won't know the full makeup of where you all are physically, but I know you're not physically where I am. So that means we have to work together in a virtual environment, and you as students have to work together. And this is a good skill to acquire, and this is a good, safe place to acquire it, because it's not easy. So you have to learn those things, and maybe some of you are more skilled at it at this point than others, but I hope by the end of the course that you've all improved your skills or acquired those skills. And then finally, learning to analyze business situations in the real world. Basically, this course, and you've perhaps had other courses like this, where there are no right answers. We can develop a marketing plan to accomplish a certain goal, and another group of people might develop a different marketing plan to reach the same goal. Who's right? I can't tell you. You want to gather as much information in order to reach the right conclusion. Any information that you have helps, but the information will always be incomplete because you're dealing in a changing real-world environment where not all information is available, and some of the things you have to make decisions without having perfect information. So we're going to use case studies in this course to approximate real-world situations. So you're going to have case studies where you're given the information that's available, and then you're going to use that information to decide what the best solution is, and that may vary. For instance, if I give a case study to each one of you individually, you may all come up with different answers. And that's okay. I'm not looking for the quote right answer. I'm looking for a well thought out, well documented decision making process that arrives at a decision that you can defend. So that's kind of the process here. So if you're used to, if you're coming from an engineering background, or my own background is accounting, where things tend to be answers that are right and answers that are wrong. Here we're going to deal with something different. Here we're going to deal with some unknowns, basically. So that's important. So those are the 5 things that I hope you all come out with, and of this course with. And I think as long as we all work well at it, I think we will all achieve those goals. In terms of me, my name is Mark Shaughnessy. I am located in Castine. Contacting me, my office phone is 326-2122, which is a 207 area code. I don't think I put that in there, but and that 207 area code will get you my office. You can see my email address there, mark.shaughnessy@mma.edu. And then I've also given you my personal cell number and my home office number. Because we're working virtually, I may well not be in my MMA office all the time, so you can reach me at those other numbers if there's an issue that you need resolved, and you can also always reach me via email. I'm pretty good at responding to email. I check my emails often, and unless I happen to be out sailing and not have connectivity, you should get a response from me pretty rapidly. So anytime you need anything, I'm available, and we're dealing virtually, so you have virtual office hours. The textbook, I've already sent you you've already received in your welcome package in Canvas information about the textbook. So it's the Marketing Plan Handbook. Oops, I think this is wrong. I'd prefer that you have the 5th edition, and it's actually much more available now. I think there's actually a 6th edition out, but the 5th edition works if you can only find the 4th, or you can find the 4th cheaply, then the 4th is fine too. The different editions don't vary very much in content. They just vary in terms of the examples that the author uses. So the more recent editions have more current business examples, and obviously old editions have older business examples. It's an interesting textbook. It's quite small, and it's very much hands-on, and it's really written for someone who's been promoted and or given a job in a marketing management responsibility when they may have come from some other discipline. So if you were the logistics manager and you were offered the VP of marketing position in your company, this is a book that would be pretty useful to have because you don't have the background in marketing. So I find it quite useful in this course because what I'm trying to give you is that basic background in marketing. You do need a computer. You need Excel, PowerPoint, Visio, and Word on your computer, and if you don't have current versions of those, I believe that with your tuition you can get free copies from the MMA IT department of those, the current, whatever it is, Office 16 I think is the current version. We will have some reading from articles. I will provide those to you, magazine articles, newspaper articles, journal articles, and case studies. I don't expect this will happen, but if I decide to use a case study that has a fee attached with it, you may have to pay that fee. It's quite small usually, $10 or $15. We'll see whether that happens or not, but some of the people who write case studies actually charge for them as opposed to providing them at no cost. So we may use a case study that provides that. I haven't decided on all the case studies I'm going to use for this course. In terms of assessment, you'll have 2 quests during the semester. I call my tests and or quizzes quests because a long time ago an undergraduate student got tired of me using both words, quiz and test. He said, which is it? And then it's actually a she, and she suggested that I use the word quest instead of test or quiz, and I find that pretty effective. So it's a combination. They're not too long, so they're not multi-hour examinations, and they are a quest for knowledge. So we've got all sorts of things going on there. Good marketing word. So the quests will primarily be related to outcomes 1, 2, and 3. And then there'll be projects and case studies which will focus on 1, 2, and 3, but also on 4 and 5. And there will be some group projects, and there will be some presentations required as well. So all of that will take place during the course. Class contribution is definitely important, so whenever we have discussions, I generally require comments from all students, multiple comments from all students. Class discussions virtually can be very effective if everybody participates. And if you just jump in at the very end, like say if we've got an assignment that's given on a Sunday that isn't due till the following Saturday, if you jump in early and provide your information so that people can comment on it, then it works quite well. If you just jump in on the Saturday before it's due, then you don't really get to participate in the discussion. So I look at that, and that's part of how I evaluate your performance. There's 10% of your grade is based on participation, and obviously participation means participating. I do like that quote that I give there from Chinbro, which is many of you know Chinbro, but if you don't, it's a large nationwide construction company based in Maine, and in every one of their conference rooms at their headquarters, and probably in their remote locations as well, though I haven't been to them, they have on the wall, all of us are smarter than any of us. And that's absolutely true. And that's what group work is about. That's what collaboration is about. And that's really, really important, that we pool our knowledge and our information and don't work in a silo. Grading policy, the quests are worth 40% of your grade. I grade on a 1,000-point scale, so 400 points. Case studies and projects are also worth 40%. And look at that, it doesn't add up, and here I am an accountant. Gotta fix that too. Won't let me change it. This should read 500. No, I won't change. Oh, there we go. Okay, so case studies and projects 500 points, participation 100 points, for a total of 1,000 points. And I'm going to assign letter grades based on the chart here. And you must get a B- or better to be considered having successfully completed the course. As you probably know, in the graduate program, you have to you can have only one grade below a B- in the course of your matriculation towards a degree, and if you have more than one, you go before the board, the evaluation board, of which I'm a member. So make sure you keep your grades up B- or better, and hopefully much better. I think if you do the work in this course, you shouldn't have a problem completing the course successfully. I've provided a tentative course outline. This is the schedule of lectures. And the way I run this course, each week you will get lectures and assignments on Sunday night. By Sunday night, you may get them a little earlier, but they'll definitely be available to you on Sunday night. And those assignments and lectures need to be completed by you by the next Saturday. And that's going to be the pattern all the way through. And when I do lectures, I do short questions halfway through each lecture, or a third of the way through each lecture, that you have to respond to before you can go on to the rest of the lecture. So they're submitted in pieces, and that helps me know whether you actually are understanding what I'm talking about. I can come back and reinforce things that you're not necessarily understanding. So it's sort of like asking questions in class, if you will, in a live class. So that seems to work pretty well. There are 2 flex weeks at the end, because I generally get out of sequence at some point. We get involved more deeply in some area than another, and we get a little behind. So the last 2 weeks will be used during the semester whenever it's necessary. And it is a tentative course outline, so it's subject to change as circumstances warrant. Case studies are fluid. I'm not sure exactly when they'll be assigned, but there'll be at least 3 case studies I would expect during the semester, and they may be done individually or as groups, probably both ways depending on what the case study is, and you'll know when they're being assigned, when they get assigned. Academic honesty, the policy there, an important policy. I sometimes use Turnitin. If I do, I will let you know. Turnitin is a program that has a massive database of academic papers as well as papers that are available to the public through Google or various publications. And if I submit your papers, it will look there in that database to see if there's any copied items. It works extremely well, so I'm not sure I have to use it, but if I feel the need to use it, I will. If you need accommodations, the information is there. The information about Title IX and individual protection from Title IX is there. Tutoring, not quite as available to you as graduate students, but might be necessary. I don't expect it. You'll need it in this course. If you have to miss a class because life gets in the way, please let me know, and you will be responsible for the material, but hopefully you can catch up. I can't, generally speaking, with these online courses, don't see too much of that because you have a whole week to do the work. So let's hope you don't have an emergency that requires you to miss a class. And be active and participant, and everything's subject to change. So check. Also use your MMA email account. Don't just look at your own personal account. Make sure you check your MMA email account. That pretty much wraps up my running over the syllabus, and starting in week 1, following this syllabus overview, we'll be starting with the new material. Thanks very much.